Brad Robinson, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be on heCast today.
Hey, thanks, Mike. Definitely excited to be here.
Well, at what point were you at in your career at around 18, 19? Is that when the magic started to kind of happen and you thought the freight train might be taking off?
Yeah, definitely about that time. So I graduated at 17 in high school, and then I played on the junior national team that summer. Yeah, that really, if you want to talk about like a turning point, like a positive and a negative and stuff that I've learned from that was when and this is like some of the stuff that I talk to the kids about now, and making decisions based on strength, not on fear. It doesn't matter what the decision is, doesn't mean it's right or wrong, because that's up to you, but making decisions based on strength and not on fear. So what had happened was, it's all I ever wanted to do in my life was to play professional baseball. It's all I wanted to do. And looking back, a lot of people that I looked up to, and coaches and, mentors, people would say, you're too small. You won't like the bus trips. You won't, you should go to school. You never get this opportunity again. All these things, right? And as a 17-year-old kid or 18-year-old kid who's very influenced by these people in his life, or people in our lives, everybody, I ended up listening to those people because it was kind of bringing me down, and I felt scared. I felt nervous, and I felt the safe thing to do was to just go to school, because everybody, you got to go to school, you got to get your education. And that really sent me down a path because I didn't want to ever go to school. I wanted to play professional baseball. Right. So I made the decision based on fear. Right.
You're rolling the dice at that point, making a pretty big decision not to go to school, but to play a sport. In the eyes of many people, that's you rolling the dice on something like that, and that's where that fear would come into, that defensiveness or that hesitation maybe.
Well, it was safe. It was safe.
Yeah.
To just do the other way because everybody says I should do it that way.
Right.
And then honestly, that led to regret for the rest, like until further on in my life, when I was, experiencing stuff in the fire department,
right,
where I had to do my healing and all that. I didn't even understand. And I carried that with me for 25 years.
Now, knowing what you know now,
yes.
If you would have done that, were you ready for it? Would you have been the guy that would have done that? Or do you think it would have led you down a path that you weren't ready for?
Okay, so here's the way I'll answer this.
Okay.
Knowing what I know now.
Yes.
I believe that it wasn't about, all I ever wanted to do was play professional baseball.
Yes.
But I also believe that what was the hardest part for me by not doing it,
right,
was not knowing, not giving myself a chance to even try. So by not giving myself a chance to try, you never know. So again, another thing that I talk to the kids about,
right,
it's, if you don't give yourself a chance, you'll never know, right? To do the things that you want to do. So would I have made it? I don't know. I was pretty good, but it's right place, right time, right coach.
Yep.
All that stuff. And, the biggest thing for me, knowing what I know now, is that I will never, ever in my life again leave something where there's the unknown.
Right. You're either winning or you're learning is a shorthand for a similar message to that is, hey, you know what? Give it a shot. The worst case scenario is you learn something, right?
It's the unknown.
Yeah.
Right? And once you heal, and once what I know now too is, once you heal, the unknown can be, endless possibilities versus fear.
So you're what, mid-20s when you joined the fire department?
I was early. Actually, I was a little bit late, so I was early 30s.
Early 30s.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, and as this is happening, and you were there for almost 2 decades.
I was there for officially for 18 years. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Now, at some point, you're carrying around a lot of mental stuff, a lot of
Yes.
stuff in the background, a lot of bags. You got a heavy backsack
Yes.
that's weighted heavily from a mentality standpoint.
Yes.
And with the fire department, that gets amplified.
Stuff that I look back now and go, wow, man, that was crazy. Because like driving home from work and just start crying, for no reason. Not that there was a reason, but I didn't know.
No, exactly.
And
Spontaneous weeping.
right, just like I left the fire hall, and then it's like floodgates. But anyways, yeah. Fast forward, there was a lot that happened in that period, but the EAP program.
Yep.
And I called and I just said, I don't know why I'm calling, but I don't know what to do because I can't work, I can't function. And so I went and did a couple counseling sessions, and nothing was it wasn't doing anything for me. It was good to talk about it, but honestly, I thought it was my marriage. Like at that point, it was like, oh, like because we were having problems, but so we started talking about that. Nothing about mental health issues or fire department or anything, which was so far from we were having problems because of what was happening, not because of other stuff. But
so to use a medical analogy, you were treating the problem like you're treating a headache with aspirin to mask the symptoms, but you weren't going to what was creating the symptoms in the first place.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I found a psychologist who had worked with first responders. I went to him for 8 sessions. And so from that, it was like, he's like, yeah, you have, post-traumatic stress disorder. It's this. And so that was relieving for me to understand that, like, I know it doesn't matter about the label, but at that point it did to me because I thought I was crazy. I didn't know, I didn't know what was happening. So to hear that, it was like a bittersweet.
PTSD at that point would have been in its infancy. You might not even, it's a bit of a buzzword now and people have a lot more of an awareness of it. But back then probably wouldn't have even crossed your radar as something that was common, correct?
Oh, absolutely. And, we didn't talk about it. We didn't.
If you had kind of a few little points of advice for people who are feeling, for men especially, who are feeling stuck in a rut right now, whether it's professionally, whether it's not achieving, maybe having some of those regrets that you're talking about, what are some takeaways that you could give to some of these men that are feeling this way?
It's also, the having the ability, I believe, to let go of the past. The past is heavy. The past is, and not to minimize it because I've been through lots, so I'm not minimizing it, but it's already happened,
Mm-hmm.
to be your most successful self, and this is kind of a word right now, but be present, right? Life
Mm-hmm.
happens in the present moment. The more we carry around our past, the more we live in the past. The more we focus on the past, it's and once we can, once as a human, like if we want to make a change, being able to let go of the things that are not serving you anymore, because a lot of times we hold on to that stuff because we feel like it might take away our power.
In a way, it's almost making that safer play, because it's whether we like it or not like it. It doesn't matter if the security blanket is dirty; it's a security blanket.
Yeah,
and it's filthy, but we're holding on to it because it's what we know, and it's really, in a sense, that safer choice. And to bring it back to something that you said earlier, the braver choice or the bolder choice. Don't be afraid to to make that change, to let that dirty security blanket go. Am I on the right page with you on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Okay. We're not defined by the regrets that we have,
Mm-mm.
you know? And I mean, you saw it in a big way, but you just kind of finished it in a smaller way saying, hey, the things that we do not define who we are, actually who we are. And I love this discussion. This time has flown by. So I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to be a part of this today. And I look forward to the next time that we talk.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I can't say enough how happy I am to have this opportunity to be on here.
It's exciting to see where the He Changed It company is going. If you haven't downloaded the app, go to hechangedit.com. You can right now, or maybe even at the time of this broadcast, it might be even in the App Store at that point. If you have any questions, comments, anything pertaining to the podcast or He Changed It at all, please reach out to info@hechangedit.com. And very soon, we are actually going to have a heCast community within He Changed It. So lots of exciting things happening. Thank you for taking this journey with us, being on this ride. My name is Mike Chisholm. I am the host of heCast, the official podcast for He Changed It. Thanks very much. We'll see you next time.